So today is the day. We try to be as real with you guys as we can, but sometimes it just takes long for us to be settled with the idea of sharing some stuff that's going on in our personal life. And today, that day is for Davi, who's been kind of holding on to this for a while.
Yeah, I've been keeping a secret from you guys for like a year, and secrets aren't helpful for a lot of reasons. Kind of make you feel bad, but I just didn't want to be vulnerable with anyone about this particular thing except my husband, because it was very important to me that the only opinions I took into account are mine and my husband's. That's all that matters. But I have learned over the last year that if you aren't making your own serotonin in your brain, store-bought is fine. And I, as a true millennial, have been outsourcing my happy with an antidepressant. So I went in for trouble sleeping, and I had an intense panic attack that sent me to the ER about a year ago, and I left there with 20 milligram prescription for an antidepressant and some Ambien. And, I said I feel my issue is anxiety, teeth grinding, no sleep causes a lot of stress and headaches, and I'm fidgeting to the point of pain. Like I chew on my cheeks, and then I'm like, I taste blood. And I'm like, I'm biting my cheeks, and I don't even realize I'm doing it. I'm biting my fingernails. I've gotten a lot better about that. But they're like, yep, Lexapro's perfect for you. And I'm like, oh, Lexapro. I've heard of her. I know somebody that loves her.
And who has said Lexapro?
Kristen takes Lexapro.
No. Like when somebody prescribed it to you.
Oh, my doctor, yeah.
So it was a therapist or it was
It's a primary
GP?
care physician.
Okay.
So I have a counselor, and they don't write prescriptions. I have to go to like my doctor for that. So, talk therapy for 2 or 3 years has been great. And I am privileged to be able to afford it and be able to do that. That has been awesome. But there's still all this stuff that I'm dealing with that I don't know how. And I did feel like it's getting worse. So I was like, I think I need to go this route. I don't think I can do this by myself anymore. I can't breathe, and it hurts.
Sorry.
And that's how I met Lexapro. And we started our relationship. And our first date was the very beginning of a Bert Show week off, because I didn't want to be weird on the show. I planned it. I held on to that medication, and I took my first pill when we had a full week off. So because I felt like I needed that week for us to get to know each other. And I was super excited for us to be in this little relationship and bring out the best in each other. And I also decided I'm going to keep it a secret because, like I said, the only person that should be commenting on this is me and my husband. No one else's opinion mattered. I feel like Mo's been through this where you have some drinks and then you have some friends that are like, you're so much funnier when you're drunk. You can't tell me something like that. I don't want to hear that. I don't want to hear
because you interpret it as you're a way better person intoxicated than you are sober.
I don't want to hear that I'm better with any kind of assistance. Like, I am me, and I'm awesome. I just have hard times. And I didn't, like, you guys joke about it, and you have so much fun with it, but I was like, I'm too sensitive right now, and I know that. Like, I don't want to tell you guys, and then we have a Lexapro hour. Like, I just couldn't. I was like, I'm not as cool as Kristen. I'm not ready, So I kept it secret. And also because in talk therapy, like, I've learned that the mental health stigma is very real. It's very alive, and talking about it in a lot of ways makes you a target by people that are like so hell-bent that they're super healthy. Like, they have an unhealthy ego, and maybe they don't have any kind of illness that affects their mental abilities or their learning abilities, but some people do, and they like to dog on them, and it's gross. And I feel like through talk therapy, like, I learned that being the one with mental health issues, or at least being vocal about it in certain groups and certain relationships, it can make you the scapegoat for like everything. Like, anytime there's an issue, and they're like, you're the aggressor, like you're the one, and you turn into the scapegoat for every failure and every like unprofessional time where you're like, this is a problem. You're the problem. You're the negative aspect here. And that was something that was told to me in my family life, is like, you're bringing everyone down. You need to smile more. You're the negative aspect here. So it's like, you go through your life thinking that, and then you go to talk therapy and you're like, some people do treat you that way. I know we say they're not calculated, but they are. And that's why the mental health stigma is so real, because people will just throw things at you that you don't deserve, or they use these phrases like get therapy, take meds, up your meds, would you miss your meds today, as an insult. Like it's not caring. It's not compassionate. That's not compassion towards mental health. That's mean. You're being a bully. And people say that kind of stuff to me on the internet when I wasn't even taking medication. So I was like, I can't imagine if I'm trying to better myself and I'm getting my store-bought serotonin and going to the store to get that, and people would still say, up your meds, you're a piece of garbage. You bring everybody down and nobody wants you here, kind of stuff. So it's like such an insult, and I just didn't want people to use it to hurt me while I was trying to acclimate to this new me. So I've kept it a secret, and I know that that's not fair because there's so many other people that take meds and they're so happy, and they're like, more people should talk about it, please, because this is how I feel too. More people, you should be using your platform to talk about this. So I just couldn't open myself up to being possibly sensitive at that time. So I apologize, but I'm proud of myself.
There's zero to apologize for.
I'm proud of myself because I didn't need people writing me and going, you're so much funnier or better, or you're not as funny, during this time when I think this is bettering me, but it's actually not. People don't think I'm as funny. But so our secret love started on that week off with Lexapro, my Lexapro confessions. And I thought I was falling in love with Lexapro. We had our week off from the Bert show, and I was just spent some time in a hot tub feeling these meds take over. And at first it was like I was in a big fog. And I was like, is this love, infatuation? Do I love this medication? 2 weeks later, I couldn't stop writing jokes. I was so like manically writing jokes. It was amazing. And I felt this creative surge, and I was ecstatic about everything. And then like the third or fourth week was like the acting foolish phases started. And I noticed some bad behaviors in myself. I was very impulsive. I was very moody. I started partaking in bad food behaviors again. So, and it was like the opposite end of the spectrum. So in the past, I have dealt with anorexia, and I have been so good for so long. And then I start doing this stuff again. I get so disappointed in myself. And then this was more impulsive binge eating behavior, and trigger warning. I know this is hard for people to hear about that deal with it. It's hard for me to talk about. But, I was eating like my dad. I was just blindly eating. So I've gained like 25, 28 pounds, and and I was fine with it. I was also excessively drinking. I was excessively spending. I had way more tension in my joints and my muscles. I'd be watching TV to relax, and I'd be all crunched up. And I'm like, what is this? What's with my fists? I can't understand. I can't relax. I went to a massage therapist. They yelled at me because I literally couldn't relax. They're like, I can't work on you if you're not going to like let go of the tension in your shoulders. I'm like, I can't. I had no motivation to do anything. So the writing, the creative process, everything halted. Working out, I stopped. I was just binge eating and purging all the time. And again, I apologize for the triggers and the mood swings and the hot flashes and all of this crazy stuff. But the impulsive behavior that I'm not accustomed to, and it reminded me so much of my dad, because he's like, every single commercial, he owns every Chia Pet. Like when he was alive, he owned every Chia Pet. He would fall for all of the midnight like advertisements. He would buy all the stupid crap you would see on the show at 2 a.m. And he ate, he would just blindly eat and not take care of himself. And I was like, is Lexapro making me so happy that I don't care about myself? And I am driving fast, and I'm acting irresponsibly, and I'm excessively drinking, and I'm not a drinker. Like I'm really not. Like I would have one or two with my friends, and now I'm like I go out like I want to drink daily and all this stuff. So it was all these new thoughts and behaviors that I was like, is this confidence? Is this just what confident people do? Am I happy? Is this the serotonin? Okay, I'm good. If you're taking a medication that's not meant for you, it'll make you act nuts. So I learned that Lexapro and I aren't working out, so we're breaking up. Mm-hmm. So I broke up with Lexapro, and the withdrawals are real, and nobody tells you that. You're supposed to take your medication same time every day, because if you don't, it's like within 2 hours you can feel it. And I hate that something has that much of a hold over me. And you need to taper off your medication if you're planning to get off your medication, absolutely, and keep taking it at the same time every day, because it's so difficult. Like I have felt so dizzy and disconnected. Like there's a couple times, and I hate it when it happens here, that you guys are talking and just all of a sudden it's like whoosh, I feel like I'm in a different room. If it sounds weird, it feels weird. And I'm like trying to focus and rise above. And so it's been really hard. I've been a little overly emotional. And I said the S word last week on the air. So I
all right.
just want to apologize.
Kristen said the F word.
She did.
So, yeah.
Yeah.
Always trying to one-up you.
That's where I am with it. And I felt like I needed to confess that because I feel like there's a lot of people. Like I made some jokes about it in my stand-up because I was just getting used to the idea of like being on it. And I was like, it's fun. And like, especially people that are at comedy shows, y'all know we're sad. We need to laugh. So like most of you probably taking medication too. So I was fine with like making those jokes. And now I'm like realizing it wasn't for me. And it makes me sad because I feel like it's so helpful for so many people. And it didn't work for me. It made me crazy and I had to get taken off of it. And it was scary behaviors. And I don't want to be like that. And now that I'm coming down from the Lexapro, I'm starting to look at my body differently because I'm seeing the changes that were made that I didn't care about. And now it's like, snap, Lexapro's out of my system. And I am looking at myself and picking my appearance apart because I have gained weight. I look different in clothes. My pants fit me different. So I'm in a really, really weird place. And I might be for another couple weeks. But I will be okay.
I am. I think I got a bunch of different thoughts, and none of them are any kind of guidance because you're in an area that I feel your pain, and I'm so sorry that you have to go through that on a day-to-day, man. I mean, I think life is just so short, and to not be able to celebrate it and not do anything about it must really be very deflating. And I just want to tell you I love you, and we're here for you. And I'm so sorry that you and others that have this anxiety and depression and the chemicals just aren't firing right and are having such a tough time trying to get them right, that it's so hard. And I am so sorry.
I guess you hope for something to be like a Band-Aid, like blanket, like we're done here. But it's so complicated. And you might not just have depression. You might have something else that depression is just a symptom of. So if you're just trying to cover the depression or anxiety, it's like all these other things that, like this tension. I mean, I've been prescribed something else that I'm a little scared to start taking, but it's helped a lot of veterans with like PTSD. But I'm still like really terrified that I'm gonna have the same kind of just impulsive, reckless behavior actions, and I don't want to like crash my car or hurt my marriage or lose my job or I don't know if I can keep a hold of that little demon that comes out. So I'm scared to take the new meds, but I'm just going to see how I am for a little while as myself.
Super brave for even talking about it.
Thank you.
So I'm specifically taking phone calls that I know are not going to be judgmental. Eleni, good morning. You're on the Bert Show. Hi.
Hi, Davi. Thank you so much. You're so brave and so good. Thank you for sharing your story.
Thank you.
I would imagine it feels like a very lonely place, you know?
It feels weird. You just feel like there's something wrong with you. And like you're, I guess when people like you grow up as like this extra element or burden around most people you know. And then you grow up and you're like, well, that's still got to be the case. So I need to medicate this because I'm the problem. And it's like, are those just, am I really the problem? Like, am I firing off wrong? Or am I just ruminating on these awful things that have been said to me and I can't get rid of it?
I'm waiting for Kayla to go on hold because, I mean, I could take phone calls for the next hour and a half, but Kayla is a therapist. And here we go. Thank you. Hey, Kayla, good morning.
Good morning. I am a really big fan of the show. I just wanted to say to Davi, thank you so much for sharing this. I'm a therapist myself, and I also deal with anxiety and depression. And it's really hard to be open about it, even in the field. I still feel the stigma, so I just want to thank you for talking about it. I know it's not easy.
Thank you so much.
Thanks for calling. So what is it that you need from us in here and from listeners? Is this like you don't want to address it, even if they want to hit you up and say, hey, I'm going through the same thing? Is that something you don't want to talk about? So what can we do for you to make this more comfortable?
I will absolutely talk to anybody about it. Like now that I've been through the experience to its completion, I'm like, okay, I can not sensitively talk about this. So email me, DM me, whatever. Just I would rather not have critiques on my performance where you're like, oh, I noticed something was up with you for the last year. You've been really unfunny or something. Like, that would suck. And I know it's not true because I have been exceptionally funny this year. So
I don't disagree.
yeah, that kind of stuff. But I mean, I'm here to talk about it because that's what helps us get rid of that stigma. And that was why I wasn't talking about it to begin with, which makes me sad.
It's a Bert Show.
The Bert Show.